We're going to start drawing the proportions of the head. So oftentimes we see handouts like this that show us different lines and how to make the proportions of the head. We're going to start with a blank slate today. And the first thing that we're going to do is make a line for the top of the head. That's going to be my top of the head line. Now, you need to make sure that you are drawing light until it's right. So most of these lines will get erased when we make our face, when we finish our face. So we have a line for the top of the head, and then we're going to go down to the bottom and make a line for the base of the chin, so the bottom of the chin. Okay? Now, I want to make a center line because most faces are somewhat symmetrical. They aren't perfectly symmetrical, but they're somewhat symmetrical, meaning that there's an eye here, there's an eye here, half a nostril here, half a nostril here, and so forth and so on. Okay, so we have some measurements that we use a lot when we're talking about proportions of the face. So if this is the whole, the half, which is right in between. So if you fold something in half, you get 2 equal parts. So we're going to just guesstimate that this is the half. And this is the line for our eyes. So we're going to make a line that goes across like so. It seems odd that the eyes would be in the half. However, most people just account for the face and not the head. The head to the chin, the top of the head to the bottom of the chin. The middle is the eyes. Okay, and so your eyes are an eye width apart. So if we have an eye here, then this measurement is just going to repeat itself for the center. And then over here as well. So we've got an eye width, an eye width, and an eye width, right? And the face itself is actually 5 eyes wide. And of course, these are approximate. They are, different people, different faces, but in general, this is how it works. Okay, so whenever I start drawing in my eyes and nose and my features of the face, parts of the face, I just want to lightly kind of indicate where it's going to be. So there's going to be kind of an oval. And I'm doing this very lightly with my regular number 2 pencil. Okay. All right. So then another measurement that we use a lot, other than halves and now fifths, is thirds. So if you have a line, and here's the end, okay? In half would be here, but in third would be here. So we have a third, a third, a third, okay? And so the iris, which is the colored part of the eye, is 1/3 of the eye itself. So the iris is going to be around here. So there's a third left here and a third left here. So we have an iris, third, and we're good to go. Okay. Moving right along, the pupil, which is the black part inside of the iris, on a typical day, not, if there's a super bright light or a super dim light, is typically a third of the iris. So there's a third left, a third is the pupil, and a third left. Same thing over here. Okay. Now, we're going to move on to eyebrows. And the eyebrow is usually an eye above. So if I had that much space, my eyebrow is about here. So here's this line. The eyebrow goes to about halfway in the next eye. So it's like 1.5 eye width. There's my eyebrow. And of course, again, I'm just kind of sketching it in real quick. I'm not trying to make anything perfect right now. We'll come back and add better features later. Just trying to get the proportions and where things lie on the face. Okay, so there's an eye width or length. Above the eye is usually the eyebrow. Okay, now we're moving on to the nose. So the base of the nose, which is the bottom of the nose, is halfway between the eyebrow line and the base of the chin. So now we're going to ignore this, pretend like this doesn't exist, okay? And we're going to go halfway between here and here. And so we get about there. This would be base of the nose. So again, the base of the nose is halfway between the brow line and the base of the chin, okay? And then the width of the nose, typically, if you draw a line or have an imaginary line from the corners of the eye down, that gives you the width of the nose. So now I can draw a little bit of a nose shape, okay? Then for the bridge of the nose, the skinny part at the top, I'm going to go a third of the way between the eyes. So here's the corner of an eye, here's the corner of an eye. This is half, but I want a third. So I'm going to go about here and here. If I want to make the bulb part of the nose, I can. And of course, like I said, we can always come back later and work on our features a little more. But this, again, is just for the placement of where things are. Okay. Next, we look at the lips. So halfway between the nose and the chin is the base of the lower lip. Halfway, so right in the middle. This is the base of the lower lip, right? And the width of the eyes is usually, if you draw a line from the inner iris, or an imaginary line from the inner part of the iris down here, then you get the width of the mouth. So I'm going to go in and put my center line in. And then, of course, I have bottom of my lips and my M up here for the top of my lip, like so. Okay. Okay. Next, the width of the chin is basically equivalent to the width of the nose. Now, some people will have wider chins and some people have more narrow chins. Some people have a cleft in their chin and so forth and so on. But just for a general purpose, we're here. Okay? All right. Now, this is the size of the head. All right? This is the size of the head. Not necessarily the size of the face. This is the size of the skull. And even if you gain weight or lose weight, the size of your skull, being that it's bone, is going to stay the same. However, your cheeks may be larger. So between the eye line and the baseline of the nose, we have cheek. So halfway between, we come out here, and this is where the cheeks are. And this is the widest part of the face, not the skull, but the face. Okay. And so usually from here, the face comes around like so. And if you look at the proportions of different faces, some people have a cheek that comes down like this. Some people have a slender shape to their face. It all depends on the person that you're drawing. And so again, I'm drawing light until I have it right. I'm just drawing this person out of my head. There's no real life person. Okay, let's add in some ears. Right now they look like they have on a swimmer's cap. Let's add in some ears. So I'm going to go across from the center of my eye and my brow line. So here's my brow line, here's my brow line. And the ears can go as low as the nose line. So your ears are going to fall somewhere between your brow line and the bottom of the nose. Now, they may be as tall as that. They may not be as tall as that. They may go a little high or a little low. And that's up to you as to which you want to make your ears. And of course, we can come back later and figure out how big, small, narrow, we want that as well. This is the basic proportions of the face. So we had 5 eye widths across for the skull. Okay. We have the nose is as wide as the center of the eyes. The mouth goes from the iris to the corners of the mouth. Halfway between the brow line and the chin is the base of the nose. Brow is 1 eye length above the eye. The ears fall between the brow and the nose. The mouth falls between the nose and the chin. And those are your basic dimensions. So now you can take this information as well as the information you learned about drawing and shading eyes, nose, ears, parts of the face, and create a face today. Do well.